Recently, I was asked, how do you make tough decisions when it comes to your business or your life? Being an entrepreneur, guys, and a former professional athlete, I get a lot of different questions like this because a lot of professional athletes, especially professional athletes, we have to make in-time decisions. That means we don't get a chance to do a whole bunch of thinking, a whole bunch of, soul searching and things like this. We got to make a decision and we got to go out there and execute immediately. And so when it comes to my business, I was asked this question as well, and you'll be amazed at the answer. It's only 3 things that I do, 3 things that I've used for over the years, and things that I use in my coaching programs for different entrepreneurs and other business owners that want to know how to make those tough decisions and make them as easy as possible. So in this video, what you're gonna do is you're gonna learn how to make the tough decision easy. Attention entrepreneurs, welcome to Hustling Secrets. You're gonna learn the hustling secrets of successful multimillionaires.
What a better way to learn is from none other than Mr. Rodsmith.
Rodsmith to the clear, and he makes the catch for the touchdown.
I'm proof that it works just by following the steps.
Inspiring entrepreneur and thought leader Rodsmith.
All right, guys, like I said before, I got 3 steps for you as far as how to make the tough decision, okay? The first one, which is gonna sound real contradictory at first until you let me explain. The first step is to reflect. Wait a minute, how am I gonna reflect on the decision that I haven't even made? Exactly, that's my point. And what I do, guys, is I go 3 to 6 months into the future. Literally with a big tough decision, that means that there's some major consequences attached to it. What I like to do is I usually project it out 3 to 6 months from now. How do I want this decision to impact my life? Is it a business decision? Is it a life decision? What is it? Is it health? No matter what the area it is, guys, these 3 steps will help you. And the first one is to reflect. How do I reflect? 6 months from now, I'll use that as my example. 6 months from now, how would this be for me? If I made the decision today, how would it look 6 months from now? I want to know that before I actually make the decision. Do I believe, based off of the decision I'm about to make, will I have a favorable outcome from the decision that I made? Will this not give me the outcome that I'm looking for? I don't really know for a fact, but I go through that process and I like to work backwards. It's kind of like when people say, you set your goals to make an extra $100,000 a month or whatever the number is, right? And then what you do is you draw a plan going backwards. This is the same thing. That's why reflecting is so important. So I like to project it out 3 to 6 months or more, depending on how big the decision is and how big of an impact is it gonna have on my life. And so what I do is I take that information and I just compile it as much as I can. If I have to take a day or 2 or whatever it takes to actually sit down and decide on that, then that's what I do. A lot of people, especially if your decision affects them, they will want you to make a decision immediately. And I can tell you right now, the way I'm wired and the way I set things up, I like to measure 3, 4, 5 times, cut once. If you're in construction, you know a little bit about that. I've been in construction business as well. And so that's one of the things I like to do, guys. I like to project it out and work backwards. Is this outcome favorable if I make this decision today? It's a tough decision, and I only get to make the decision one time. Remember, you only make the decision one time and you manage it every day after that to make sure that you can get the favorable outcome that you want. So the first step is to reflect. Well, after that, let's go to step 2, guys. Step 2 is remove. What are you removing? We're removing any emotions from the decision. A lot of times when you make a decision and you're emotional about the decision, you'll base it off of how you feel versus off the logic or the outcome that could happen, okay? I always teach this, emotion creates motion, okay? And so if you get too emotional about the decision you're about to make, you'll start making decisions immediately because you don't want this certain feeling, or maybe you're super excited about something and you like the way you feel, and so you just start making decisions, and that doesn't mean it's the right decision. And like I said, the whole concept here is how to make the tough decisions easier, all right? And the way you're gonna do that, guys, if you remove the emotion, if you can take as much of the emotion out of the situation and make it a logical decision versus an emotional decision, you're gonna probably have favorable outcome when you can remove the emotion, okay? Sometimes you gotta take some of the people that it may affect out of the equation. I mean, I can remember definitely some years ago when I had to make decisions that I knew for a fact they were going to affect my family. They're going to affect my kids. They were going to affect a lot of different things in my household, but I had to just turn everything to me. Don't focus on them, because at the end of the day, you're the leader, you're the business owner, you're the head of household. If you make a decision that betters you and you're happy with it and you're excited about it, it's going to affect everybody else in a positive way as well. Okay, step number 1 is reflect. Step number 2 is to remove. And now let's go to step number 3, guys. So we're going to do a reevaluation. Step number 3 is we're going to reevaluate. We're going to take our 3 months, our 6 months, or whatever time it took. We've made our decision. We've acted upon this decision on a daily basis to get the favorable outcome. Now we need to reevaluate. Okay, if you're reevaluating, it's not exactly the way you want it, or it's not as close to the feeling that you want it. Okay, what are the things that you can adjust and tweak to make sure that you get that favorable outcome that will actually impact your life the way you saw it 3 months ago or 6 months ago? What's up, everybody? I want to give you a quick testimony of one of the clients that I have. Actually, we were doing some counseling. She had a huge decision to make. She runs a multi-million dollar business. And one of her first employees, she was in the process of getting rid of her. If you're a business owner, you probably know this. You probably had a person that you really, really like, but they weren't good for the team. And I remember her calling me, and she was getting some counseling, and she was like crying, upset. And I said, okay, let me ask you a few questions. And so what I did is, guys, I do the same process I did for myself. Okay, well, how do you see this is going to affect your business in the future? How do you see this turning out as far as 3 months from now, 6 months from now? Do you believe everybody's going to remember this person? I know they've been with you for day one, but do you believe that person had that big of an impact on your company? Because you grew it from nothing and you're multiple millions of dollars a year right now. You know, do you believe they're going to have that big of a stronghold on it that your business is going to go back to zero? And they were like, no, it's just that, I don't like making these type of decisions. I said, I get it. I understand that. And then, so what I had to get her to do was remove the emotion. I said, okay, how's it affecting the business now? And guys, we got real hardcore into, what was going on and the negativity and the bad energy that this person was bringing. And I said, is it affecting your client base? Absolutely. And this is a high-end client base. I said, it's affecting your client base, but more importantly, it's affecting the other people that work in your office. I think there's about 7 or 8 people that work in this office, and it was affecting them as well. And I was like, okay, so there's this one person that valuable that you want to ruin the other 6 or 7. And so when I said it that way, it removed the emotion for her, because she had to protect the other people that were working in her office. And I said, well, okay. And so then we came up with some strategies. And honestly, we haven't even had to reevaluate it. It literally took her like a couple of weeks. She made the decision to fire the person, and how she did it, did a severance and all that type of thing. Literally, this is the way I would fire somebody. Hey, this is not working out. And they're gonna be like, what do you mean? And then you give them the bullet points of what's not working out. And if you have a severance package and this and that, you put it in place, and you make sure the person gets paid according to kind of your closing, or like we used to have an end of the year evaluation with our coach. I use the same principles in business. I said, you're basically gonna have a kind of an end of relationship evaluation with this person, and you're gonna be able to move on. And the next 3, 4, 5 days, she was very, very emotional about it. But after that, she just knew it was the best decision. As a matter of fact, the business has actually taken off. The other person tried to sabotage some of the business, posting things about them, and that they want the company that everybody thinks they are, and it actually helped their business grow. So those are some of the things, guys, that we do, the same 3-step process, reflecting, removing the emotion, and then reevaluating. And in this case, the reevaluation was more like a week later, and she knew it was the best decision for her. You just got to get some of the other stuff out of the way. These 3 steps will make your decision-making process a whole lot easier. It gives you time when you first start reflecting. When you reflect, you know what you do? You evaluate it in the future, and you're going backwards. And if you don't see that coming out very well, then you know what? You're either going to make a different decision, or you're going to reevaluate the whole situation as altogether. Is it something you just walk away from, or what do you need to do? But some decisions have to get made, especially in business, especially when it comes to your life, especially if it's affecting your family, if it's affecting your future or the growth or your finances or whatever it may be, especially if it's affecting your health. You gotta make a decision, right? So let's make it as easy as possible. So let's look into the future and work our way backwards. Then we're gonna remove the emotion. The emotion will make us make decisions out of haste. I don't like making hasty decisions. Sometime I'll take a day, 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever I need to make sure that I clearly saw as best I can this decision without all the emotions. And trust me, guys, over the last several years, I've had so many different family things and decisions that I've had to make. Still to this day, they're not going away. The decisions are not going away. But the difference is, how will you handle each one of these decisions? If you have a simple formula like this with 3 steps, it's easier to remember and it's easy to execute it, make decisions, move forward, and go out there and keep living the life that you want to live. And of course, then you do the reevaluation. In some of the times, well, in most of my cases, you know what I've done, guys? I've made the decision, thought it was a big decision, thought it was hard, realized that it wasn't. It was just the steps on a path to greatness that I was going on. And the same thing is going to happen for you. If you're on a path to greatness, if you're looking at your business and you need to make some tough decisions with your business, you need tough decisions with your life, just take this 3-step formula, use it, and I'm telling you, you're going to see that your decision-making process will be easier, it'll be faster. And that right there, for us entrepreneurs and business owners and people who are go-getters and growth mindset people, that is so much easier for us so we can get on to moving closer toward the things that we want. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out the podcast. Thank you for checking out our video as well. And here's what I would like for you to do, guys, because we know as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an author, speaker, or coach, you're just one catch away. You're going to catch one big break, but you got to be able to make tough decisions. And give us a like, give us a view, give us a share, and we look forward to seeing you guys on our next video. All right, you guys be blessed. Peace.